Today, guys, we're gonna go for a motorcycle ride, and I am going to explain to you why I bought the Suzuki SV650 over the Yamaha MT-07. So we're gonna hop on the bike and ride up the mountains and hopefully get some good video of the colors changing, because it is late September right now and the leaves are turning yellow. So let's do it. Make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am. We got kind of the afternoon sun shining down on us, so it's pretty bright. So yeah, a little backstory. When I had gotten my motorcycle license, I knew I was going to get a naked bike. And I had basically pinned it down to 3 options. And that was this bike, the SV650, the Yamaha MT-07, and the Kawasaki Z650. Right when I got my motorcycle license, the very first bike that I sat on, I went to my local motorcycle shop, which is just down the road from where I live. You know, they're a Kawasaki dealership, but they did have a brand new Kawasaki Z650. And I definitely wanted to check that out, so I got there and I sat on the bike, and it just didn't feel comfortable to me, and I really didn't like the look of it, you know. So I kind of threw that on the back burner, and obviously I wanted to go check the Suzuki out and the Yamaha MT-07 out. Guys, when you're looking between this type of class, the naked 650 class, they're all very similar. And let me tell you, I almost bought the Yamaha MT-07. It was super close. The second bike that I checked out, I went to the Yamaha dealership, which is about 20 or 30 minutes from where I live. And they had the brand new Yamaha MT-07. They had the one that's like in the gray color with the orange color scheme, and then they had the all black one too. So, and it's a great looking bike, do not get me wrong. I absolutely love that bike. So I took it out for a test ride, and the guy only let me go like about 4 or 5 miles on it, and I got it up to like maybe 50 miles an hour. I didn't get it up to the speed that I wanted because he basically just had me do a big square when I test rode it. I loved it. It was great, you know. It was a great bike, and I was like, yeah, all right, whatever. So then I went to the last dealership, and this guy, you know, I live here in northern Colorado, and I went to Cheyenne, Wyoming, to Cheyenne Motorsports, and technically it's a Kawasaki dealership, but he had brand new Kawasaki's, brand new Yamahas, and brand new Suzukis. You know, it's a pretty big dealership. You know, so I went to the dealership in Cheyenne, Wyoming, the third and final dealership, and I wanted to test ride the Suzuki SV650. And they were the only dealership within less than 2 hours from where I live that had the SV650. And but he had the brand new Yamaha MT-07, he had the brand new Kawasaki Z650, and I love that dealership. The guy was awesome, they're super friendly. So he took me out on a motorcycle ride together when I test rode this bike, and we went for like a 12-mile ride, and we got up to close to 70 miles an hour. It was fantastic. And so when I got back, you know, I had fallen in love with the Suzuki SV650. Now, when you look at the differences between the Yamaha MT-07 and the Suzuki SV650, you know, they're both super similar. You know, they both put out close to 70 horsepower. The Suzuki weighs a little bit more. It's about 440 pounds or so. And the Yamaha is like 400 or something. So, you know, they got similar torque, you know, similar power. But why did I buy the Suzuki SV650 over the Yamaha MT-07? Well, first of all, the Yamaha sits a little taller than the Suzuki SV650 when I was test riding it. That's what I noticed. When I sat on the MT-07, I could barely put my feet fully flat on the ground, and I noticed that right away. And when I sat on the Suzuki, I can put my feet all the way down, and that was big for me, you know, especially as a beginner rider. So it sat a little lower, and I'm 5'11", so, you know, if you're, I think, like above 6 feet, 6'1", you know, maybe the Yamaha is you know, something that you're gonna, a little taller bike, maybe that's something that you want. But the Suzuki was more comfortable to me, and just the general seating position, you know, like if you look right here, you know, I'm strapped into the gas tank, you know, and a lot of people say, oh, you know, like when you push on your brakes, you know, your body slams up into the gas tank. Well, that's designed that way. You know, the Yamaha is a more straight up seating position. Suzuki designed this bike this way so that you're more with the bike. You're supposed to be, you know, kind of hugging the bike with your knees, you know, the gas tank right here. So I just found that more comfortable. Some people don't. And then the biggest reason why I bought the SV over the Yamaha MT-07 was the looks. You know, the Suzuki just has that more classic bike look to it, and the Yamaha is a lot more sportier. You know, they're both great looking bikes, don't get me wrong, but for me personally, I like the Suzuki a little bit more. Another big reason, so when I was test riding the Suzuki out, the dealer that I was buying this from was a super nice guy. And I straight up asked him, I was like, look, man, you know, what would you choose? Would you choose, because he could have sold me both the Yamaha MT-07 brand new or the Suzuki SV650 brand new. And he's like, and I was like, in your opinion, what bike would you get? And he's like, without question, he didn't even hesitate. He's like, the Suzuki, without a doubt. And I was like, why? He's like, a lot of reasons. One, Suzuki's been making this particular naked SV650 for 20 years, you know, and he's like, they got all the kinks worked out. He's like, I'd never seen a Suzuki SV650 break down. I barely have to work on them, you know. But he's like, then he's like, I do see a handful of Yamaha MT-07s break down, you know, because they've only been making that bike for what, 5, 6, maybe 7 years. The Yamaha, there's a lot more plastic to it, while the Suzuki SV650, it's all steel pretty much, you know. It's got more weight to it, and the Yamaha does seem easier to ride when you're going around corners because it is a little bit lighter. That's one thing I did notice. Ultimately, this has, you know, even though it has a lot more weight, you know, it's made out of steel. It's a lot more reliable. It has a great maneuverability, and it just feels comfortable. The seating position feels comfortable. The weight of the bike feels a lot more comfortable, and the overall rideability just felt a lot more comfortable. And then when he told me that, you know, Yamahas seem, to him personally, seem to break down a little bit more than the Suzukis, you know, that was a shoo-in. You know, I remember reading a forum before I bought the bike on the internet, and some guy, I was like, what's the difference between you know, the SV650, the MT-07, the Z650, etc., etc. And the guy plainly wrote, he's like, if you want a sportier bike that that's just fun to mess around with, but you want to outgrow it and move on to another bike, you know, get the Yamaha MT-07. But if you want a classic looking solid steel bike, you know, that you want to hold on to forever and modify it as you go along, as you grow older, get the Suzuki SV650. And so when I test rided the two, I don't know, I just felt a lot more comfortable on the Suzuki than I did the MT-07. I like the solid metal frame that the Suzuki has. I like the classic look. I like the headlight, you know, and I just love it. I just love it. And you know, it was just calling me. I'm not here to diss on the Yamaha MT-07. That's an awesome bike, and I almost got it. I was thinking about you know, which bike I wanted for a couple days, but you can't go wrong, guys. You know, when you look at the Kawasaki Z650, that definitely has a lot more a lower seating position. You're a lot more hunched over, and it's a lot more racy, you know. So I will say that about that one. It's not as comfortable as the Suzuki or the Yamaha, but with that being said, it's a great bike, and I know a lot of people love it. I'm telling you guys, if you decide, if you're looking between these two bikes, the Suzuki or the Yamaha, you can't go wrong with either one of them. So yeah, that's why I got this bike, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Just thought I'd bring you up to the mountains real quick. Can't really see the colors up here. I guess you got to go more up, but I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.